and substitutions that you've had to make, and what were you asking at that moment?
No, I tell them it's over. You know, we are out, so we have 45 minutes. I know that we are able, when we score a goal for our people, we can come back. And the first half was so academic, but we didn't have, you know, the spark, you know, to do it against teams that defend really well, and especially with the ball, they do really, really well. And they are fast, and it's not surprised that they've been the last 22 games unbeaten. That means a lot of games. And we knew it, but the second half and before the 1-1 from Kova, we have one or two chances to do it, and of course it was a game a little bit of a transition, but of course when you have nothing to do, you are more crazy, and they can make a transition, but you can do it, and unfortunately we can go, and of course it's Madrid or Bayern Munich will be real tough, but yeah, it's 2 weeks. In 2 weeks we have a few players back, a new signs back, so and hopefully we can do a good 2 games.
Yeah, how much of a difference could that make that you can register your new signings now for the next round?
No, of course, important. We suffered all the season without players, so and have these players, you know, you have more alternative. Hopefully Jeremy is back as well, so we have players to do it and do our best.
When you're searching for that goal tonight, was it almost fitting it's the guy that's won 4 Champions League titles that gets the breakthrough for you in Kovacic? I said, is it almost fitting when you were searching for that goal tonight? Mateo Kovacic has won 4 Champions League titles. Is it sort of fitting that it was him that got the break?
Well, normally when you play in Real Madrid, always you have a lot of Champions League in your pocket. This is the truth. And Kova was there, and yeah, I have experience and make a fantastic goal. I know Kova when is able to break the lines in that way is something unique, something special. So, but yeah, we did it, and now it's time to enjoy it, because it has been a really tough season in Champions League. Well, we arrive in last stages every season the last years, and to this season, from the problems that we had, we struggled a lot. But you know, finally we could qualify, and the draw is the draw, and we see.
What could this do for your season now? Do you feel you're through that patch that you had, your 6 unbeaten in the Premier League, and now you've got this result tonight into the Champions League? Is this a springboard for you tonight to go on to success?
I don't know. I would like to tell you yes, but I don't know. So I have been so unstable during the season. You know, in the past always we were incredibly consistent, but this season I've been unstable, so I cannot do it. So in the Premier League, we are so tight, so we win a game, we can be there. We lose a game, we can go relegated 7-8 position, because many teams are there. But today is a sense of relief to qualify, and of course it's long season ahead of us, but still step by step we are recovering results, and some moments are good games. It is what we had to do.
Lovely. Pep, thank you. Thanks so much.
And he's off. Relieved but not convinced.
On the SuperSport platform, we had such an evening, and glad to have shared it with you. Glad to have shared it with Bongani Khumalo, Kaylin Swart, Teko Modise, as well as Stanton Fredericks, who were alongside me as we caught goals from left, right, centre, from Manchester all the way through to Madrid, from Milan all the way through to Germany as well. First things first, Bongani, we're going to have quite the morning looking back at some of these goals. Your overall overview of what we've just seen, starting at what happened in Manchester.
Yeah, I mean, look, a nervy start. I mean, I think with the pressures associated with what was at stake, you almost saw this one coming, you know, out of nowhere, Bruges getting a goal and obviously making it really nervy. The only thing worrying was the time of this goal. The mere fact that it came in the 44th minute adds more stress. Right before half-time, you know, all of a sudden, you panic, and for Bruges, this is the perfect way to come in at half-time. But the reaction from City, I mean, it is quite something. You can only imagine the conversations that were had within that change room, you know, people obviously calling each other out in terms of just making sure that they do this as soon as they come out. And this shows the intent, the drive, the belief, the aggression, to fight your way back into a football match. And, you know, this is a wonderful start, the perfect start, really, in the second half.
Kaylin?
Like, I was just loving Teko's reactions every time, but he kept saying that there is that senior presence in the locker room, you know, the awareness of players, of knowing exactly what's needed from them. And like Bong said, the way they came out in the second half, the way they started, that's the perfect start. A coach cannot ask for more than that. And I think that's when they kind of found their rhythm. And credit to Man City for really sealing the game.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful second half performance. And again, Bongani did touch on what we can imagine was the conversation at halftime from Pep Guardiola, asking his men to really just stand up and be accounted for in that second half.
Yeah, and I think also you look at exactly what he did when the second half started. He brought on Slovenia. That was the only change that he made, pulling off a Gundogan right now. Now, Foden now become a player that played more as a 10 because Silva now went out a little bit to play out wide. But then you have still a lot of creativity. Yeah. But Slovenia will give you those 1v1 because Dog is not around. So literally, and you have Grealish as well on the bench. So you don't have like a 1v1 type of player out wide. Yeah. So Slovenia, that's exactly what he did, what he brought into the game. And he inspired that comeback in the second half. And once you get that goal that you wanted as an equalizer, then you all of a sudden you have that belief that you can actually get the second one. And also you started seeing Club Brugge as well, allowing spaces that they didn't in the first half, because also they still feel like there's an opportunity for them to actually go and win the game. And when you want to play an open game against City, even as rusty as they are, even if they're not in good form they are, but they do have quality players that can just change things like that. And once you get the second one, then you're in the comfort zone, but you still want the third one because that's how City plays as well. But even though Club Brugge had those type of opportunities, scary moments on that break that they had, but I think it was a game that you require as a coach for the top players to remind each other as to how good they are. To also remind themselves how good they are. Because sometimes, as much as you can be a great footballer, you do go through dips. And at times, you just need somebody to pat you on the back to remind you how good you are. And you look at City. They had unbelievable 2025 from January. They started turning things around, and this might be the turning point for them. Propelling them maybe into a better position on the lock in the PPL, but also maybe looking forward to the Friday's fixture as well. Praying to the football gods to throw us a little bit of nice dates, and still be able to propel. And all of a sudden you find yourself in the semi-final, you find yourself in the final. You forget about how you started the tournament, and this is the type of opportunity that City might have. But also, you need some little bit of a consistency within the team itself. As much as there's been a very difficult City to look at, because normally City is very strong defensively. It's a team that that they will score goals. Scoring goals is not a problem, but all of a sudden now they're leaking goals at the back. Then you start looking at the individuals. Is Anderson off form? Are we lacking Paul Walker now that is left? Is Nunes on the right? Is it the right player for the team on the right back? Do you have the right partnership at centre back? But also you have to look at the team holistically. Everybody dipped. Not just one individual, but everybody dipped, which is unlikely for a big team like City. But for the fact that they are able to come back and find themselves in such position, they should be grateful. And from that position now is then how then do you utilize the positions that you're in. Now that you're in the knockout phase, then how then do you propel? Do you still want to be, being on the edge or hoping for the best? You need to start playing football because now you bypassed the toughest stage. You came back, so they need to go back to playing football. And I think this is an opportunity for them to do that.
14 goals in the competition that City have conceded, alluding exactly to what Teko Modise was talking about. The 14th goal is what seemed as if we'll be knocking City out, but we're going to be finding out now the post-match reactions from the man that started the fight back. Here's Mateo Kovacic.
Thank you very much. I just mentioned to Mateo it was Bayern all round next, and your reaction was?
Yeah, every team in the Champions League is a tough one. So first of all, we're happy that we are through now because it was a tough group stage, let's say, for us. It was not easy. In the end, we are through what's the most important, and then whoever comes will be difficult, so it doesn't matter.
How deep did you have to deep out there tonight as a team, because you had to come from behind?
Yeah, very, because it's obviously a game with a lot of pressure. We had to win, but I think the first half was not bad, but we just couldn't score, couldn't get the chances. Then we concede in the first chance, and in the end, we are happy that we scored, that we could win this game, and in the end we had a pretty good game, I think.
What was it like in the dressing room at half-time? Was that one of Pep's biggest half-time talks?
I don't know if one of the biggest, but it was good for sure, because we came out very well. So we knew that we need to step up because the first half was not enough. Second half we showed a great character, great desire to win, to go through, and the crowd was behind us, so amazing atmosphere today.
Was there a sense of remembering your identity in this competition and everything that City has been represented the last couple of years? I mean, 2 of the last 4 finals you've been in. Was that important to you all tonight?
It was, because we knew we are here to go through, to be in the next stages. We are a good team. We can be there, and today we showed that we have a great character. We come back from 1-0 down, and that's what a great team does.
I believe you got that player of the match trophy in your hand as well. Enjoy tonight. Thank you. Well done.
The player of the match this evening, Mateo Kovacic, helping City get into the playoff spots. Unfortunately, unseeded going into Friday's draw. We'll see exactly who they get to face over 2 legs in those playoffs. Let's, for the first time actually today, join Neil Andrews, who, despite missing the majority of the evening, leaving us to do the heavy work, here he is, part of the wrap. Neil, thank you very much for your time. We know that is well past your bedtime, as it were, so we appreciate you joining us. What did you make of it all, particularly what happened at the City of Manchester Stadium?
Well, I'm glad you spoke about that. The one thing I've worked out, and that is that Teko spoke all the sense tonight. It must be that chair, because whoever sits in that chair is pretty smart. But I wanted to pick up, the only thing I had about Teko is I wanted to use different words. He keeps saying Manchester City are going to come through the back door. The problem is that right now it looks like a revolving door. They keep coming around, one result, one bad result, one good result. But I do agree with him. You know, this log has been terrific. We've all been speaking how wonderfully entertaining it is. But there's no doubt that at the end of the Champions League, the cream will rise to the top. So I agree with Teko that Manchester City got through comfortably in the end. You know, you don't win the Champions League in January. So exciting times.
Wow.
I think the wheat and the chaff will be separated in this knockout phase now. You know, the teams that have finished 9th through to 24.
Yeah.
So, well done to City.
Yeah, well done to City indeed. That little statement you've just made about the Champions League not being won in January, that was like a dagger to the heart to both Stanton Fredericks as well as Kaylin. But you're not wrong. You are not wrong. Even our producer is not feeling extremely happy about what you've just said. However, let's quickly focus on a game that I know, building up to match day 8, you are looking forward to really, really hard, and that is at Villa Park. Aston Villa up against
business once more on the back of that very important equaliser. 1-1. So deflection, and it will be a throw-in. Well, what can they do to stop him running at them? Romeo Lavia. And there it is, the half-time whistle. So the beginning of the second half here at Stamford Bridge. Possession 1. Mudryk. Being egged on by the crowd. And a goal to re-establish their advantage. Just look at the celebrations. Palmer.